Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Stacy Thiry, who is a licensed mental health counselor at Grow Therapy. So, first of all, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Let's talk about what Grow Therapy is to start with.
Sure. Grow Therapy is a phenomenal platform that makes mental health and healthcare accessible to everyone who accepts insurance. They go ahead and connect people with their providers, and then they handle all of that insurance connection and the billing. So it just makes it so that about 94% of visits are covered by insurance.
Oh.
And it's a national group provider. So it's entered into this value-based care arrangement with national and regional health plans, which really aligns payment with improving behavioral health care.
And this is very important because as somebody who's struggled in the past, it's very overwhelming to actually even find a provider. So you're like,
Right.
If you're depressed, you're struggling already, and then it just seems so hard. So this would really help with that then.
Right. It's as simple as just going to the Grow Therapy website and then clicking Find a Therapist, entering your insurance provider, and they handle it from there.
So it's growtherapy.com?
Correct.
Okay, and let's talk about the new year and how we should be reflecting on the past year and current state of life before setting some plans for the new year. What do you think on that?
You know, it's a great question. And as we're thinking about going into a new year, one of the things I like to ask myself and the clients that I work with is, first of all, identify what are some things that I want to maybe leave behind that didn't really serve me very well. Right. So you want to maybe check in with yourself and see how connected do I feel to myself and to the people that I care about, and then go from there and see what it is that you want to going forward. What do you want for yourself in the new year?
So are you a believer in setting intentions? Because, that really worked for me last year.
You know what? I do appreciate the intention mindset, right? Because a lot of times we don't rise as high as maybe goal setting allows for us, but we'll fall as low as our systems allow, right? So if we set a good intention and we just focus on trying to make a 1% improvement each day compared to the day before, that's a really practical way to look at it.
All right. So how should we be even doing resolutions? What's your feeling on that? Because I usually I did the intentions, but I usually resolve not to resolve because I feel like I do let myself down when I make all these lofty goals. What's your thought process on that?
So I appreciate that question very much. I do agree with you on that. I think that resolutions can kind of put us in a box of either pass or fail, right? I either changed this thing about myself or I didn't. And a lot of times we struggle when we feel like we haven't made an adequate change. So I do think that a little bit of a more subtle but effective mindset shift would be to ask yourself, okay, what do I want more of in my life? And how can I continue to invest my time, effort, and energy into that? And that way it's not so much of a pass or fail. And it's not so much about changing something that's maybe necessarily wrong with you. Mm-hmm. It's more like just, I'm going to make some adjustments in my life to see if I can enhance my quality of life.
Getting back to what we were talking about with setting intentions, you can't just say, I intend to be this way. You have to put some action behind it too.
Absolutely. That's the thing too, is that a lot of times we feel like things are going to be hard. And I like to do this subtle reframe when it comes to putting action behind anything. I'd like to challenge people to reframe this idea of something being hard and just say to yourself, it just takes effort, right? It just takes a little bit of me showing up and seeing what will happen if I put a little bit of effort toward it.
And I think you'll feel better if you show up for yourself. I mean, we're always putting ourselves last, so that should maybe be first this year.
I agree. I think if you haven't already tried that approach, I would just ask that you maybe consider trying that on and see how it fits for you, maybe for a month or two, where I'm just going to put myself first. And I guarantee after that month or two, you're going to want to continue to do it.
It feels a little selfish, though, doesn't it?
So this is really something I deal with quite a bit with clients, is that term selfishness, right? Mm-hmm. And so we do have to do a little bit of, I would use the word unpacking. Where does that come from? Because really the greatest harm that we can do to the people we love is not know how to get our needs met, because then those unmet needs become everybody else's problem. Right? So instead of this idea of pouring from our cup into the cups of others, let's just change that maybe visually to an idea of pouring so much into your own cup that you're overflowing into those around you.
And you're ready to be there for them once you're there for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now I love the cup analogy. I've heard that used before. We're taught kind of in romance movies in our culture that someone is supposed to complete you. That's how you know you found your soulmate. But isn't the ability to find a soulmate is when you finally completed yourself?
Oh, so that one is another excellent topic. I would ask that, there are some benefits to having a partner who can come alongside you and challenge you to grow in maybe ways that you haven't considered before. What we do want to try to avoid, I think, that tends to be draining for our partners if we're talking about romantic relationships, is when we have these unmet needs and we're trying to extract that from another person, right? So that's just not sustainable long term.
No.
What I like to tell my clients is let's look at relationships less as codependent on each other and more as interdependent with two whole people who come together and grow together.
I love that. Thank you so much, Stacy Thiry. Of course, she's a licensed mental health professional at Grow Therapy. Appreciate your time.
I just want to wish everybody a very happy new year, and I so appreciate this opportunity. I have some downloadable resources on my website, wealthinwellness.org.
And as we discussed at the beginning of the interview, people who need mental health resources should go to growtherapy.com. That makes it so much easier.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
It's Wellness Wednesday on 99.9 The Q.